Tun wir nicht so, als wären wir Bürger mit geringen Ansprüchen? Come on, let's not act like some low expectation citizens. What's going on? Stick with me. I will explain. Ich begrüße Sie. Herzlich willkommen by Hanovi Global Network. So, we used to use some expressions back in the days like never see come see, mama guy, and I'm sure today you guys are still familiar with those expressions. So it is quite obvious that one thing this current administration is extremely good at is mama guying the Grenadian people. And it's sad because the mama guy their own base. The simplest of things that they are expected to do, they will use it as an opportunity to score some sort of political mileage. And like penguins, their base will be like, yeah, whoa, wow, amazing, look at that. So that is the situation. So they're good at what they perceive within themselves as throwing a bone to the citizens of Grenada. So after years of globe-trotting and living the high life, they finally buy a pothole repair truck that probably costs, depending on which one you buy, between 150K to 400K. Okay? So between 150,000 to about 400,000. And all of a sudden, all the surrogates and hitters are all over the place. Yeah, wow, we got a pothole repair truck. Like that's the most amazing thing done by the government. They get one pothole repair truck. Well, let me tell you something if you didn't know. When we grew up, there were people what used to be referred as travel workers. And they were pretty much road repair crews. And these people repaired the roads and kept the roads in shape more than any pothole truck could have ever done. Because these crews were active. So the roads weren't in disrepair because they didn't have a pothole truck. They had specific road repair crews going all over the place repairing the potholes. And these people were efficient at what they did. I am telling you. They were good at repairing potholes. So the fact that you have some sort of pothole repair truck coming and you're trying to sell this as this is some sort of magical wand that is going to be waved and all of a sudden all the roads in Grenada will be perfect. Let me tell you something. Stop again to use that old expression, mama guying the people of Grenada. Okay? Because again, it tells me that you have no respect for the people of Grenada. Not even your base. Okay? That you're masters at insulting their intelligence without regard. So you spend millions, as I said, globe-trotting, eating the best, whining and dining, living lofty in what? 20K plus residence on the backs of Grenadian people. And now, you guys again using the Grenadian taxpayers' money to buy a pothole repair truck for 150K to 400K, and you're looking at this and saying to the Grenadian people, wow, see, look what we're doing. Things are happening. What sort of low expectation citizens do you believe that you are dealing with? That you would think that getting a pothole repair truck is the most amazing thing that you could have done for the Grenadian people. What a joke. And they are grown people in the society who would let this pass. Wouldn't look at the recklessness that was done when they came in and found $500 million in the treasury. But you would get all excited and go on a parade and start a carnival over 150K to 400K pothole repair truck. And this is not top of the line repair truck. I guarantee you that they probably got this probably for 100, 120K. Okay? I guarantee you. So this is a question these radical leftists in the media should be asking. How much did you pay for the truck? What did it cost the Grenadian taxpayers? That is the question you should be asking. But no, you're not going to ask those questions. You're going to coddle them. You're going to rock them with questions, softball questions that they can answer. You're not going to ask the hard questions that journalists, real journalists, should be doing. And knowing the socialist Marxist mentality, it's probably even less. It's probably some sort of arrangement. And I would like to get to the bottom of that deal. Someone should get to the bottom of that deal. That gets you excited. Neglecting and forgetting that these are the same people who recklessly spent $500 million that they met. Okay? And these are the same people who are globe-trotting. These are the same people who I believe in some sort of pyramid scheme with Polaris are making millions off of your backs. And this is what you settle for. This. You allow these people to bamboozle you and play games with you. But I'm going to remind you, from the inception when they came in, I told you about all of this. So I want you to understand it is time for charlatanism, mockery, and sensationalism to be done and over with. Done with charlatanism, done with mockery, and done with sensationalism. Take a look at this video.
For an administration to come, need a treasury with $500 million, okay? And to take that $500 million and just recklessly use it, and then to turn around and boast as if you created that money, as if you know how that money got there, as if you understood the fiscal responsibility it took to create that money, and then you come now and you use that money and you're boasting and saying, oh, I did this and I did this with that money. Not even knowing how that money got there. But that is what I'm calling youthful adventurism. That is like spoiled kids who inherit money from their parents and they just go on a spending trip, without knowing or even thinking about how hard their parents had to work to get that money. Yeah, that's what it's likened to. So when you show fiscal responsibility and you increase the coffers of government, and then you create projects, and then you do things with the money that you created, or the income that you created for government, then you can boast about it. Not trying to use the machinations of government to enrich yourselves. And you grown people sit around there and say, oh, well, give them a chance now. Give them a chance. And NNP do the same thing? Well, the last time I checked, I thought that when you leave a relationship to go into another relationship is because you wanted to improve your condition. So you don't leave an abusive relationship and then you come and you end up in an abusive relationship. And then you don't say, oh, wow. Well, I don't mind the abuse I'm getting right now. Guess what? My ex abused me. Nobody talks like that. Nobody looks forward to something like that. If your condition doesn't improve, haven't moved on, then there's something wrong. Then you miscalculated, you were lured into a situation, or you were bamboozled into something that is not beneficial to you. Be wise, people. Don't make excuses for recklessness and indiscretion. On that note, guten Abend.
So yeah, it's like spoiled kids who inherited money and went on a spending trip. So as I said in the vid, when you increase the coffers of government and you create projects, then you can boast about it. Not when you make a mess like you made in Grenadians. Okay? Not that level of recklessness. Not like when you broke the pipe, the existing utility pipe in Grenadians. Okay? And had to slow down the project. Not when, like, you broke another pipe in Cloget when you were doing that retaining wall, an existing utility. When, for the life, I couldn't understand, how do you engage or start a capital construction project without having a survey of the existing utilities. That is construction 101. Everyone understands that. And take a look at this. Take a look at this right here. When I spoke about that. And Jenny Simon explained to me what the problem was. Take a look at this. And existing utilities marked out and protected during construction. Why was that not ensured by the resident engineer? What the heck is going on, people?
You want to know why, Perry? The problem is, on the 23rd of June 2022, we voted for and hired a bunch of novices. None can help the other. And so is Major Putte.
So, since we're on the topic of breaking pipes, I even forgot. They had broken a pipe on the Molyneux project. So, this is the broke pipe constructors. Okay? These are the broke pipe constructors. Everything they touch, and I told you, it may seem comical when I say everything these people touch turned to stone. And they are like the great mythological figure, Medusa. So yeah, I just remembered that broken a pipe, existing utility pipe, when they were working on the Molyneux project. And for days, water gone in tongue, as we just say. Okay? And it's sad. It's not even comical. It's sad. Then they went on closure. They broke another pipe, existing utility pipe. Then they went down in the south. They broke another pipe, existing utility pipe. And added to that, they made a mess in Grenadians. Okay? Gravel splattered all over the road. So, then, well, we know what happened on the cliff. You know, a one-year project take what? 3 years? Okay? And for crying out loud, you're not even going up. You're just throwing things on the ground. You're barely going up. So imagine if these people actually had to construct something vertically. Boy, oh boy. Please, please don't construct anything vertically. Just stay on the ground. Road. Okay? Don't construct anything vertically. So while we're on the topic of capital construction projects, let me explain to you a little bit about how this thing works. So you have what you call resident engineers. And you always hear the talk about the consultant. So they have the contractor, they call it a contracting consultant. And they have the supervising consultants, like probably the people who kind of manage a project and stuff like that. Okay, so you may have a resident engineer on the job. Like as I have said before, Niger John would have been the resident engineer, or they call him coordinating engineer for the Southern project, the UK SIF project. And then I heard the Prime Minister said that on the Cliff project, you had Safed Incorporated, I think it's the same guy, Timothy Bob, okay, and his consulting people, who pretty much in the public domain, we gave all the answers and solutions, okay, foreclosure project. And then they come and said everything we said, okay, in the public, on GBN or something like that. So they pretty much didn't have any work to do. They just had to look at the videos we made about the solution to closure, and they implemented the solution that we had said in the public space. But the project ballooned from $250,000 to over $1.6 million. 6 times. 6 times the initial anticipated costs or budgeted costs. After we gave them all the answers. So you see, this is the sort of games that these consultants are playing with the government. Okay? And of course, you could toy with and play with people who don't understand what they're doing. So this Cliff project, as you know, people say locally, had long pants. You know? You didn't have short pants, you had long pants. So the consultant, I would assume, Safed Inc., is supposed to be the resident engineers overlooking the project. Okay? So there bears some sort of responsibility if this project goes haywire. And I'll explain to you what the resident engineer does is that he or his consulting company has to be on site overseeing the project and ensuring that everything is done according to the design plans, okay, on budget and on schedule. That is the function of the consultant resident engineers. They are the eyes, ears, and conscience of the government on site. So they have to do everything within their power and might to ensure that they represent the interests of the government. But it's quite obvious, because I don't know what could go on a site that you as consultant engineers, overseers of the project, and you allow the project to go to about, 3 times as long as it should have lasted? I don't know. I mean, who's trying to make, what? Are we trying to make some additional money here or something? What's going on? You are the eyes and ears of the government. You are there to represent their interests. You are there to make sure that things are done on budget, on time, and according to the specified design plans. So what are you being paid to do? Where's the on-budget part? And where's the on-time part? You are the project managers. You are the consultants. You are there to represent the interests of the government. I don't know. Probably I don't know what I'm talking about. Probably things work differently. So the bottom line is this. It is quite possible that the people who are hired to do this don't know what they're doing, or they know what they're doing, but they're able to manipulate a government who doesn't understand, or they themselves do not know what to expect or how these type of projects are run. That's the only way we can think about it. So because of all these things, plethora of issues after issues, I could have been just sitting here, silent, not saying a word. But it is so difficult to do that, especially when you feel you have some sort of endearment or genuine fundamental love for the place where you grew up. It's difficult. And especially sometimes when you see people are taking advantage of the citizens of the nation, or when you see people are disrespecting the intellect of the citizens of the nation. Grenadians are, as far as I know, my peers, the people that I know, are generally very smart people. Throughout the society, I'm sure there are architects, engineers, good, well-intentioned contractors. So the question is, how does Grenada find itself with all this embarrassment and all these issues with fundamental constructions? Construction 101. Things that staying on the ground. You're not going up. And for me, it's a sort of pride thing also. When I know the sort of peers that I grew up with, and when I know the sort of teachers we had in high school, who tried their utmost best to inculcate good values in us and to educate us properly. And then you see this sort of nonsense taking place. Breaks your freaking heart. So, having seen all of this, and I'm still in touch with many of these people, of my peers. And of course, some of them down there, they can't say anything. They're afraid to drop the hammer on them. So, in some respects, I am the voice for some of the voiceless. And with that, I said, I have to do the next best thing. I have to try to educate through this channel, my peoples, and bring awareness to my peoples, first and foremost, then try my best to educate in whatever capacity I can. And ultimately, that awareness that leads to education will lead to liberation from nonsense. Liberation from mockery, liberation from charlatanism, liberation from sensationalism, and liberation from incompetence. We have to hold people accountable. Okay? to hold people accountable. So my peers and I have decided to launch what we call AWEL, A-W-E-L, the AWEL community, okay? And that AWEL community is basically a community that wants to bring awareness, education, and ultimately liberation. And especially when we're in a time and in a climate of independence, okay? For all the independence we have, you cannot be independent if you cannot construct things within your environment to bring benefits to your people. If you cannot construct an economy to bring benefits to your people, you're not independent. If you cannot alter your physical environment and construct infrastructure properly to benefit your people, we're not independent. If you cannot make diplomatic and strategic geopolitical decisions in the best interest of your people, then you could never be independent. So, tonight represents the launch of the AWEL community, A-W-E-L. We would have division managers throughout Grenada. And the aim, as we said, is to bring awareness, education, and ultimately liberation. So I want to tell you, if you love our content, if you appreciate our content, we have a super thanks beneath the title of our video, okay? You can press on it and you can send us a coffee or something. Or you can contribute to the cause so we can continue bringing you excellent content. And don't forget to subscribe so you can know when we have fresh content. And don't be afraid to comment. They're not going to come after you over here. If you're not familiar with Super Thanks, this is where it is located. Take a look at this. So tonight, it's a fitting end. And remember, it's the AWEL community, okay? The AWEL community, aptly named AWEL. Awareness, education, liberation. So we'll finish it off tonight with some symbolism and the AWEL theme song. Tschüss. Auf Wiedersehen.
Sky so white, in unity our hearts we will not hide. With every word we plant the seeds of change. Awareness blooming bright will rearrange. For knowledge is a flame that never